Should governments introduce congestion pricing for electricity? Hi everyone, today I'd like to discuss an issue that has attracted increasing attention in energy economics. Should governments and electricity providers adopt dynamic electricity pricing based on real-time demand? Electricity is unlike most ordinary commodities. It is difficult and expensive to store on a large scale, and supply must continuously match demand. When millions of households use electricity simultaneously, especially during extremely hot or cold weather, the power grid experiences enormous strain. Meeting this temporary surge in demand often requires operating expensive and relatively inefficient power plants. Consequently, economists have proposed a different pricing system known as dynamic pricing or time-of-use pricing, in which electricity prices vary according to demand throughout the day. Supporters argue that dynamic pricing improves allocative efficiency. Under traditional flat-rate pricing, consumers pay the same price regardless of whether they consume electricity during periods of low or peak demand. As a result, individuals have little incentive to shift electricity usage away from congested hours. Variable pricing communicates the true marginal social cost of electricity generation, encouraging consumers to charge electric vehicles, operate washing machines, or run industrial equipment when demand is lower. This reduces the necessary pressure on the electrical grid. Another important benefit concerns renewable energy. Solar and wind power generate electricity intermittently rather than continuously. Electricity prices that fluctuate according to supply conditions encourage consumers to increase consumption when renewable generation is abundant and reduce usage when renewable output declines. In this way, dynamic pricing may facilitate the transition toward a cleaner and more resilient energy system. Supporters also argue that avoiding peak demand can reduce the need for costly investments in additional generation capacity. Instead of constructing power plants designed to operate only during a few hours each year, societies may achieve similar outcomes by managing demand more intelligently. This can lower long-term infrastructure costs while improving overall energy efficiency. However, critics raise concerns regarding equity. Not all households possess equal flexibility. Individuals working from home may easily adjust electricity consumption, whereas factory workers, hospital employees, and families with young children often cannot. Higher peak hour prices may therefore impose disproportionate burdens on lower-income households with limited capacity to alter consumption patterns. Another challenge involves information asymmetry. Dynamic pricing systems require consumers to understand frequently changing prices and respond accordingly. Many households may lack the technological tools or financial literacy necessary to optimize electricity usage. Without smart meters, automated appliances, or digital monitoring systems, the potential efficiency gains may remain limited. Furthermore, critics warn that electricity differs fundamentally from luxury goods. Access to heating, cooling, refrigeration, and lighting constitutes an essential component of modern life. Pricing mechanisms should therefore avoid undermining universal access to basic energy services. In my opinion, dynamic electricity pricing offers substantial economic and environmental benefits, but it should be implemented alongside targeted consumer protections. Governments should provide baseline electricity allowances at affordable prices while applying dynamic pricing primarily to discretionary consumption. Investments in smart grid technology and consumer education would further improve both efficiency and fairness. Ultimately, energy policy requires balancing economic incentives with social responsibility. Efficient pricing can improve resource allocation, but markets function best when accompanied by institutions that protect vulnerable households and ensure broad access to essential services. So here's my question. Should electricity prices fluctuate according to real-time demand to improve efficiency, or should governments maintain stable prices to guarantee affordability and fairness for all consumers? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for listening. See you next time.